I don't care how you start. This is a skill set that if you get down, can change everything in your life. I'm Patrice Washington, and this is the Redefining Wealth podcast, where authenticity leads to alignment and abundance. Join us each week as we peel back the layers on what wealth truly means and dive into conversations that inspire, connect, and empower you to live your richest life. Get ready to challenge the status quo. It's time to redefine wealth for yourself. Hey there. Welcome back to another episode of Redefining Wealth. If you're an OG listener, I am so grateful that you come back week after week. You guys know that we are approaching 20 million downloads. I'm checking every week and just like watching it inch closer and closer. And in September, it'll be 7 years. 7 years of the Redefining Wealth podcast, 7 years of giving voice to my own truth on this platform, and hopefully 7 years of encouraging you to do the same. I am so excited about today's episode. Listen, if you are brand new here, what I need you to understand is the reason that we talk about all of the different things is because we understand that wealth is so much more than just money and material possessions. In this community, we believe in the original 12th century definition of wealth, which says it's about the condition of well-being and happiness, which means you need to be well in every part of your life to truly have fulfillment and live with purpose and live with intention and meaning, because ultimately those are the things that are going to help you sustain the financial, material money that you actually come into contact with. And so this week's episode is so good. We're in the middle of our theme this month, which is give voice to your truth. And I wanted to share with you the 3 Ds that have elevated my voice in life and business. I truly believe that having this skill set is what has led to me being able to create so many opportunities, everything from media to speaking and coaching, and really building a life that I'm so proud of today. I can honestly say that. And last week, I shared with you that one of the equations that have shifted everything for me when it comes to giving voice to truth is this: truth squared plus transparency is what creates trust. Truth squared. That means truth to myself first, and then being able to articulate that truth to others. When I do that with transparency, it creates trust. And especially in these last few years, I am gaining a greater sense of trust in my own voice, in my intuition, in my own power every single day as I practice this. And also, it just really builds a foundation of trust with the people we say we love or the people that we are in contact with, even in a professional way. And all of these things coming together breed transformation. So after the episode last week, I actually put out a poll because I wanted to see from our email list whether people felt like they were struggling more with giving voice to truth in their personal life or in their purposeful life, which is your professional life. And it was pretty close. It was pretty close. Hundreds of you participated. Thank you so much for that. We got 46% of people saying it's in my personal life. And I want to remind you that if you didn't listen to last week's episode about how to speak so people listen, that is going to be so important if you are looking to build up giving voice to your truth in your personal life. That's with your significant other, your children, your parents, your siblings, your friends. You want to be able to do that. And then 54% of you said in your purposeful life. So that means that whether you are working with team members in a company or you're leading a team as a small business owner like I am, or you're just dealing with clients as a consultant, in your purposeful life and pursuits, are you able to give voice to truth sooner, quicker, faster? When we are not, there is a cost either way. When we are not able to be radically honest and give voice to truth in our personal life, there is a cost. Our relationships are not as connected. They're not as intimate. They're not as deep, right? They're not as deeply rooted. And there's always that layer and film an invisible barrier that keeps us from having the deep connection we actually desire with the people we love. And then in our purposeful pursuits, when we are not able to give voice to truth, and I can raise my hand, both hands, and speak to this one, we prolong our own suffering. So some of us are in toxic work environments where we're not speaking up for ourselves. We're not able to claim our own ideas or share our own innovations. Meanwhile, there are other people around us who are loud and wrong, but they're getting promoted, they're getting raises, they're getting looked at for all of these different opportunities that we wish we had. Some of us, we're not able to speak with truth, so we allow our clients to run over us. And many of us, especially if you're listening as an entrepreneur, we tend to keep people around us and on our team way longer than we should when we're not actually getting the results that we desire. When someone is not a fit for the position, but because we like them, we're not honest. So these are the 3 Ds for elevating your voice in life and business. I wanted to share a little snippet of this because it's coming from what I'm teaching tonight. If you are listening to this on Thursday, August 8th, you are just in time for Speak with Purpose. It's going down this evening at 6 p.m. Eastern. You can go to patricewashington.com/SWP to register and to join us live. We have hundreds and hundreds of purpose chasers signed up for that training from all over the world. I can't wait to see you guys tonight. And if you catch this after August 8th, 2024, within the first 3 or 4 days, you'll be able to still get redirected to the replay. So if you catch me after, again, this on August 9th through about August 12th, you should still be able to get access to the replay. And I want to invite you to come and enjoy that. Now, I'm going to give you the affirmation of the week, and then we will jump back in. This week's affirmation is, my voice is respected in life and business. I affirm my commitment to elevating my voice in all areas of my life, recognizing the unique value that I bring to every conversation. With confidence and clarity, I express my ideas and perspectives, knowing they deserve to be heard and respected. I trust in my ability to influence and inspire others, using my voice as a powerful tool for positive change. In every single interaction, I stand tall and speak my truth, creating connection in my people pillar and beyond. Each day, I amplify my voice, embracing the impact I know I am destined to make in this world. Declare with me today, my voice is respected in life and business. Okay, so again, I'm really excited to jump into this. Last week, I was really speaking to more your personal life in terms of giving voice to your truth. But this one, because we did have more people who said they needed support with giving voice to truth in their purposeful professional life, I thought this would be really great for you to, one, get a sample of what I'm teaching at Speak with Purpose, but two, get some really actionable tips that can help you right away. I want you to get support right away. So let me ask you a few questions. So here's the first one. Do you clam up when someone asks you to speak on any level, whether it be a work presentation in the boardroom in front of 5 other people, or a potential podcast interview, a Facebook Live, a Instagram Live of some kind? And you just want to have like some type of structure to follow so that it wasn't so intimidating. Or are you someone who sees speaking as a way to highlight all of the good that you desire to offer in the world, but you struggle with feeling credible enough, significant enough? You don't feel like you have what it takes for people to be listening to you on that level. Or are you someone who just wants to reduce your fear of public speaking? Every time I hear how many people are so afraid of public speaking, my heart breaks, because it's such a way to create instant credibility and authority, to enroll people in the vision, to get people aligned with what you desire. And if you don't have that as a skill, man, I just know how difficult it must be. I know how difficult it is because I've helped many people overcome it. But listening to that fear and feeling like you have to fake confidence or manufacture fearlessness in order to really push through just because you don't have a framework is really frustrating. And so I want to share with you the 3Ds that have supported me in just building the life and the brand that I have. I want you to know, if this does not come naturally to you, you are in the right place. If speaking publicly has intimidated you before, you are in the right place. Because although I wasn't someone who was necessarily intimidated by speaking, the first time that I spoke at the Steve Harvey Mentoring Weekend, it was like 2011 or 2012. And so back in the day, Steve Harvey, and I guess he still does it, but for sure back in the day when it was really big, he used to host a camp for boys who came from households headed by single mothers. The first few years, I believe, they really just focused on empowering and mentoring the young boys. But then they needed to do something for the moms, because the moms would come to town, the boys would be all empowered and they would leave, but the moms wouldn't necessarily be different. And so the first time I spoke at that moms event at the Steve Harvey Mentoring Weekend, oh my gosh, what a train wreck. What a train wreck. I had all of the right intentions. I had all of the right information. I had all of the right data, but I was introduced poorly. And I didn't know how to overcome the poor introduction. At the time I was married, of course, and the woman who introduced me didn't mention that I had just written a book. So this was 2012. She didn't mention that I had just written a book. She didn't mention that I had a certification in financial coaching. She didn't mention my degree from the University of Southern California. She said in front of a room full of single mothers, something to the effect of, she's tall, she's fit, she's chocolate, she's beautiful. Welcome her to the stage. Oh, look at that big old ring. She referenced my wedding ring in a room full of single mothers who were mostly there because many of them were having challenges with the young boys that they were raising. And it was just the worst introduction. It gave no credibility. It gave no authority. I was mortified. As I walked to the stage, the mothers were just looking at me like, who does she think she is? Furrowed brows, scowls on their face, hands folded. And even though I had the right intention and the right heart and the right motivation for why I was there, I could not overcome such a poor introduction. I didn't have the skills yet. I didn't have the tools yet. I didn't have any know-how. I got up there, and because I was so nervous and so mortified by the introduction, y'all, when I say I bombed, I bombed. I just said, oh, thank you so much. And then I just went straight into information. I built no rapport, no connection, did not know how to overcome it. But I went back the next year, and even after getting really bad reviews, I went back the next year and I had the same information, but the next year I was equipped. The next year I had practiced building rapport, reintroducing myself, doing so much of what I teach my clients to do and command the stage. And it was a completely different experience. There were several mothers who were there the first year when I bombed. And one of them in particular, who will always stand out to me, her name is Dawn. Dawn came up to me and she said, I know that you said some of the same stuff last year, and I'm sorry that we just couldn't receive you. I don't really know what was different, but I really believe that you desire to help us. My reviews were completely different. Completely different. And while I'm not going into the entire framework of what I did to change, I just said that because I wanted you to know. I shared that story because I wanted you to know these 3Ds are a part of that process. And these 3Ds, if you've ever been in a space where you felt like you bombed as a speaker, you are not alone. You are not the first. You are not the last. You are not alone. I've been there. And if I overcame that to end up not only going on to speak on so many stages, but my first opportunity to speak at a Steve Harvey anything, listen to me, I bombed 2012. And by January 2014, I was introducing Real Money Answers for Every Woman, my second book on the Steve Harvey Show. And it was so good and so magnetic that they asked me to come back a couple weeks later. And then when I came back, they said, can you come again? Because we're getting so many emails about people wanting to hear from you. And so that went on until about May of that year when Steve Harvey said, you should just be here every week. And so from 2014 to 2018, I became the money maven of the Steve Harvey Morning Show, where I answered people's questions every single week. And I only left in 2018 because I felt like my season there was up and I needed to go all in on the Redefining Wealth podcast. Even though that was a space where millions of people could hear my voice every week, they were stumbling upon me. And God told me at that time that I had to remember who my source was, because that show was a resource. And that if I were obedient and move forward with going all in on the Redefining Wealth podcast, the people who were assigned to me, the people who were searching for something, could find me in this space. And I share that because I don't care how you start. This is a skill set that if you get down, can change everything in your life. You can go from people saying, who does she think she is? What is she talking about? All the things. They don't know my story. They don't know who I am. You can leverage what I'm about to teach you to completely turn that around. So I hope that got your attention and I hope you take notes. Now let's jump into the 3Ds. The 3Ds, I believe, are why my name is always getting dropped in the hat for opportunities that sometimes I couldn't honestly have prayed for, including that Steve Harvey opportunity. It's why women are constantly in my DMs asking for advice or trying to figure out how I can become their coach. It is not all about the accomplishments. So if you feel like, oh, well, I'm not somebody who's credible, or I haven't been in magazines, I haven't been on radio, I haven't been on all these stages, you don't need to be. Because back in 2012, 2013, 2014, I wasn't either. But this is a part of what I use to get to this place. Okay. So these 3Ds are going to change everything. Number one, disrupt. Your job when you are leaning in to give voice to truth, which is whatever it is you feel compelled to talk about, is to disrupt people's thinking. You have to be willing to drastically alter the way they view themselves, their futures, or what's possible for them. You have to be the one to drastically alter that. This is why you have to be willing to be someone who's okay with being controversial. This is why I always talk about being willing to lose. When you're not willing to lose some of the people so that you can really be seen by those that you are called to, you miss everyone. It's like in marketing, they say when you market to everyone, you market to no one. You have to be willing to disrupt. That just means challenge their assumptions. Sometimes you have to be willing to walk in a space and question the commonly held beliefs in that space. You have to be willing to question the assumptions that the audience might already have. So even for me, I walk in, my bio is about being a personal finance expert. At least it was originally, right? But then I go straight into the original definition of wealth, being not just about money and material possessions, but about well-being and happiness. For many people, when I start with that, it jolts them out of their comfort zone. It jolts them into listening because they're like, oh, I haven't heard a lot of people say that. And even though now it's becoming more prevalent, you have to think, I've been pushing this message of redefining wealth in particular for the last 7 years. 7 years ago, still people were not talking about finances, and especially from the lens of financial psychology, which is what I use. I just don't always say that to you, but that has always been the backbone and the framework and foundation for why I believe what I believe and why I teach the way that I do. What if everything they believed about health or fitness or marriage or parenting was wrong? You have to be able to come in and disrupt whatever it is they're thinking. Along with that, you want to share shocking statistics or facts. Surprise them with data or research that contradicts conventional wisdom. You know, I teach results, not resolutions. That's something we typically teach at the beginning of every year. So I'll say, up front, did you know that 86% of people who set New Year's resolutions fail by February, right? We want to boom, disrupt what they're thinking, because they're thinking, oh, I'll just set my resolutions and try my best this year. And you got to let them know, that's not going to do it. What is a statistic or fact in your niche that you can lead with? This will help where you might feel like you don't have the authority or credibility. You can lean on statistics that are already out there, studies that are already out there. The fact that you actually know the numbers versus people who don't already immediately makes you appear more credible automatically. And then also with disrupting, it's about telling a compelling story. One of the things that has changed everything for me is when I started to tell the story. So when I went back to the Steve Harvey camp and the next year, so that would be 2013, and I led with my story of being on the bathroom floor, not being a wife with a big ring on. I was a mother like them. They didn't know that the year before. I was a mother who had to choose at one point between paying the light bill or having money for milk. I had to choose between paying car insurance and actually getting groceries. I had to tell them my bathroom floor story. Oftentimes we're running from the very thing that connects us to the people we feel called to serve. So how do you disrupt whatever they're thinking? When I got that poor introduction in 2012, I could have disrupted the impression that they had as soon as I got on the stage. If I would have gone into my actual story, all of their furrowed brows and scowls and arms folded would have melted away. But I didn't know how to do that, which is why I teach that now and command the stage. Okay. So the first D is disrupt. Can I be honest with you? I really don't believe anything changes in those pillars until you are willing to take radical action. And sometimes that means you have to get out of the comfort zone that is your house right now. I want to invite you to Redefining Wealth Live. Take radical action and come and join me live in person, October 6th through 8th, because this is going to be a transformative experience like no other. This is not a business conference, so we're not loading this with all the how-tos and to-dos and just strategy. This is about your soul. Redefining Wealth Live is a vibrant gathering of spirit-led, like-hearted purpose chasers who come together to awaken, redefine, and actualize wealth in every area of their lives. The goal is to move you from autopilot to authenticity. So I want you to picture yourself leaving, not just inspired, but transformed. In our deeply connected community, we go beyond talking. We collaborate, we apply actionable insights, we work on our scripts, we get in our wisdom circles and really talk about our individual next steps. This is an unparalleled connection. There is clarity and confidence in that room that you want to apply to your life. You need this in order to bring your vision to life. So this is the room you want to be in, October 6th through 8th. I want to invite you to go to redefiningwealthlive.com right now to secure your spot. That's redefiningwealthlive.com right now. And when you do, you'll have access to our next bonus co-created connection call where you can learn from me well before the event and also start to connect with other attendees. You don't want to miss this. redefiningwealthlive.com. The second D is dismantle. When you dismantle, you are destroying the limiting beliefs one by one that people have by using examples from your life or social proof or just other familiar context. So no matter what niche you're in, you should already know the limiting beliefs that people have about that niche. So let's say you are a career coach, right? You want to clearly articulate the common limiting beliefs that hold people back. So an example would be, you may believe that you're too old to start a new career. And then you debunk that limiting belief with evidence. Research shows that people over 50 are more successful when they pivot purposefully into an entrepreneurial endeavor. And then you can go into the wisdom that they've had and the work experience and all those things. You want to debunk it with evidence. And a lot of time, the evidence will be through a story. It'll be through sharing not just your story, but a testimonial of people that you may have helped. And if you're still in the beginning phases of building up your entrepreneurial endeavor, it could just be stories of people that you heard of, someone on YouTube, a book that you read, another podcast that you listen to where you share someone else's story to illustrate your own point. So now, because there is a person, meet Josie, meet John, meet Kathy, meet JL. Now I'm just saying my clients. Meet Savidra. When you start to share those stories, it starts to dismantle people's limiting beliefs, because sometimes they can hear your story and resonate. But if you are so far removed, and I understand in some spaces that I go to, when people hear 20 million downloads or a podcast or national television or stages of up to 10,000 people or 5 books or all these things, it creates this like, well, Patrice, that's easy for you to say. But when I talk about Marsha Ann, when I talk about Tanya, when I talk about Milena, now there is social proof. There are other people who have been able to deal with these limiting beliefs, and they are now flourishing. It's one of the reasons next week, all week on the podcast next week, I'm going to share episodes every single day, Monday through Friday, of real women with real stories who faced their own limiting beliefs, went through Command the Stage, and are now using speaking as a tool in their life and business. You will hear from Jamila, who went from feeling confused and overwhelmed if she had to speak publicly to now being featured on a show on HGTV and hosting her own conference. She just hosted it and then sold out her mastermind at the conference. You will hear from Trisha Daniel, who went through Command the Stage in 2022. And she had shame and guilt around her story because she's also a financial educator and expert, but she only got there because of her own testimony, but she was hiding the testimony. So you'll meet story after story. You can do this in your own presentations. You can do this in your own lives. You want to dismantle. How do you do that? Identify the limiting belief, debunk the myth with any evidence you can find, and then add social proof. That's how you dismantle somebody's thinking that whatever you have to offer does not apply to them. And then number 3, deposit. This is the thing that makes us transformational. Some people like to rah-rah. You know, if you come to Speak with Purpose, you'll understand the difference between an informational speaker, an inspirational speaker, and a transformational speaker. If you want to be transformational, you need the 3rd D. It is to deposit. You want to be someone who transfers wisdom from one to another for safekeeping. I want to transfer wisdom because I want you to make the principles that have helped me a part of your DNA. I want it to be a better version of autopilot than maybe some of the other stuff that you've been doing. And so how do we do that? You share actionable insights. In order for us to actualize, which is the 3rd part of the redefining wealth continuum, we awaken, we redefine, and then we actualize. In order for you to actualize anything, you need actionable insights. So to deposit something new, you want to provide practical advice or strategies. Please do not live in scarcity and be someone who says, well, I don't want to tell people what to do or they're not going to need me. No, that is scarcity mindset. The thing is, I don't mind sharing the things that work for me because I feel that if I'm able to share so freely, so publicly, this is why whenever I do any type of trainings, I don't hold back. If you've ever been through Soul Detox with me or Purpose Evolves or Committed to the Vision, I give so much in those trainings because I know the people who are assigned to me are going to see that if she could give that, there's so much more beyond that she must have to offer. If she's willing to give those types of actionable, practical insights, there must be so much more. So you have to give with that spirit. Give as a cheerful giver. Your job is to transfer wisdom and then believe that people will be able to discern if you are the person for them. I'm not worried about all the people. I believe that when I sow, by giving these types of tools and resources, I'm going to reap the most aligned possible client for me. And I say this all the time. I love my clients. I love people in my community. Out of the now probably over 1,000 people that I've served in just the last couple years. And I mean, served through one of my signature programs. Every time I think about this, there's only one person that I would never work with again. There's literally only one person I would never work with again. I think those are beautiful odds. And I say that to say, do not have scarcity mentality about what you deposit. Even though the person I'm thinking of, we were not a fit, I will say it that way. I will never hold back the wisdom that I've been blessed with, because I believe we're only blessed to be a blessing from other people because of one person's negligence. Never. So what are you willing to do to deposit that wisdom? And remember, if you're a thought leader, you will always be full of thoughts. Someone can go through all of my episodes, all of my content, and they will only scratch the surface of what God has put in my belly. They couldn't even fathom the downloads that I have in my phone that have never made it to the podcast or a teaching or a course yet, because the well is so deep and it is always being filled by the Holy Spirit. Every time I meditate, every time I just sit still and ask God to speak to me, there are so many downloads that I have. I'm actually thinking about, I may release it when we do Redefining Wealth Live. I'm thinking about doing something around the theme of like daily downloads, where every day I just send you like a 2 to 3 minute idea or thought, and it will help you awaken, redefine, and actualize. Just go through the process of redefining wealth every day. And you'll always be able to go back to those 2 minute, 3 minute nuggets. It's something I want to deliver like first thing in the morning, is like some type of inspiration. Listen on the treadmill, listen after your prayer time, listen on a walk, but it just keeps you moving forward. But see, I don't even mind saying that, because you can take that, steal it, run with it, do whatever you want. I'm still going to do it because I feel led to do it. And I believe it's still going to be powerful. I might make it a bonus to another program or something. I don't know what I'm going to do. But I say that to say, never be afraid of depositing wisdom into the people you say you're called to serve. You want to instill confidence in them that they can take action, especially the same action that you were able to take to get to where you are now. That's what you want. As a mentor, I love to act as a guide, sharing my personal experiences, insights, and wisdom, plus the added education I've received through supporting hundreds of women in developing deeper clarity, confidence, and conviction to live more authentically, both personally and professionally. I would so love to leverage that deep experience, education, and intuitive wisdom to be your thinking partner in this season of self-discovery, personal mastery, and/or business acceleration. And depending on the stage of life that you're in right now and what your needs are, it's important that you know that my impact goes far beyond just group coaching. I love to work one-on-one with women who are looking to go to the next level. So if I can ever be of support, don't hesitate to check on how I can be of support to you by going to patricewashington.com/mentor. That's patricewashington.com/mentor. It's an interactive assessment that will help you figure out which one of my one-on-one offerings could be the best fit for you in this season. Go to patricewashington.com/mentor, and I hope to work with you personally. Another deposit tip is just being someone who can create a clear outline or step-by-step guide, providing a roadmap that people can follow to achieve their desired outcome. So mine would be a 365-day journey to redefining wealth for yourself by using these divinely guided daily downloads. I hadn't even finished thinking about it, but see? So whatever that framework could be, but have a framework. I hope that all of that helps. I mean, literally, I have so much more. The 3Ds were something that I created, unless someone has taken it and ran with it, because I've done Speak with Purpose now 3 times in the last 4 years. And we've had thousands of people go through Speak with Purpose. So who knows? But that was actually a download in my prayer room at one point to include and Speak with Purpose. And it revolutionized my speaking, my ability to offer my products and services, my ability to pitch myself or win opportunities like my spot on the show Opportunity Knocks on PBS. All of these things have come together to be really supportive in how I have navigated my purpose, and I offered them to you. So I really do hope that it's a blessing to you. Listen, I really do believe that when you get this down, you'll be able to connect with people in a deeper and more meaningful way. I really do, whether it's personally or professionally. It just doesn't matter if you're trying to get your coworkers to go along with your idea, if you're doing podcast interviews to grow your brand, if you're doing lives to enroll your clients, or if you want to literally speak from stage the way that I do. I truly believe that incorporating all of this will change your life, your business, your career, your finances, and your legacy. So join me for Speak with Purpose, because this is just the beginning. We're just scratching the surface. And again, get ready, because next week I will be joined by 5 incredible clients who have been using the 3Ds and more of what they've learned about giving voice to their truth. And every story is just different and so powerful, so inspiring. I did literally cry on a few of those interviews. I was beaming with pride, but then overwhelmed just by the ripple effect that occurs when a woman is willing to use her voice in a mighty way. That is what I desire for us here at Redefining Wealth. And it's just incredible to see over and over and over again. I look at my page, my Facebook page, or I see my clients in their stories talking about the things they've done, their reels as they're off speaking. I've seen people go from literally showing up as shy and ashamed of their story to launching podcasts and building their own communities. So I know what the power of these 3Ds and the other principles will do. And I want to offer that to you as well. So hopefully I'll see you at Speak with Purpose tonight. Again, that's patricewashington.com/SWP. If you catch us after August 8th, please feel free to go over and listen to the replay. It'll bless you. And until next time, I want you to go live your life's purpose, find fulfillment, and earn more without ever feeling like you have to chase money. I'll talk to you later.